Hello, I'm going to be explaining just being able to get a few active frames by using the PS4 Remote Play, PS4 Macro, and autohotkey. As well, if you're not aware, please help out with the Loop Wiki for multiple games, or Mizumi Wiki with multiple games as well. But right now, this can help with fractal frames and help with testing setups. There's many different things you can use with this so far. The code is very sloppy and it needs improvement upon. So what you'll need for this is a PlayStation 4 Remote Play, PS4 Macro, Auto Hotkey, and preferably a text editor. I use Notepad++, but you can use whatever you prefer. So I'll have all the links to them in the sources. This code or this website right here is some of the bases for this script. Um, this part is a little bit weird though because it's used for something completely unrelated. So if you see something in the code that doesn't make sense, that's probably coming from this. You can compare as well and get an idea. The code, which really helps out, besides the PS4 Remote Play, which you can download from Sony's website, is this PS4 macro from Comify on GitHub. This allows you to remap buttons to your keyboard to allow you to control. So here, you can move back and forth. That's pretty important. You can do that natively in PS4, but you can't map all of your buttons. So I can do a whole combo. You can't really do that without having multiple buttons. You can't have multiple buttons set default. So the remapper helps you with that. To use that, once you do have the PS4 macro set, you need to have this open. You also need to have your settings established. And to have your settings established, you're going to want to follow what they have on GitHub. This is extremely important. Well, not on GitHub. I guess I'll add the settings here. So the settings look like this: auto injection, auto inject false, emulate controller true, show console false. That's also very important to allow the inputs to properly be read. So without this application, I'm hitting the keys, it's not working. If you open up PS4 macro, it still doesn't work. What you have to do is go to Tools, Remapper, and you can set your buttons up here and then save your bindings. I have it simulated to a stick layout. It then allows me to move on keyboard. So once this is all done, you can use this script to help go through and make several adjustments or trigger different things. This is what the basics of the script looks like. I will attach this Dropbox or somewhere. And here's a quick sample of the script for anybody that's really just wanting to see that part. Reload script. It comes up with the UI, again, space overload. I haven't changed any names yet. Start. It pulls to the window, clicks the window, does the input, and it scripts it on values. So this is really quick, trying to at least get this point. So if anybody wants to see it in action, in details, obviously can ask me some questions, and I'm going to try and work on this some more when I get more time. But I'm going to elaborate on the script a little bit more now. So what I've done right now, again, it's very ugly, is create several functions. I'll change this name probably later. I've created several functions. So light just does the light button. Again, I have it mapped to my stick layout. You have to do send of it, comma, comma. This is very important when doing it as a function. When doing it outside of a function, it will work. I'm not fully certain on the details behind it, but there's also another important thing. There's a key delay. I have it set to 20 because I wasn't sure if there was a problem or not with the button delay. Again, it should be about 16 because this is in milliseconds and one frame is 16 milliseconds. So light, U down, U up. It presses the key down, presses it up. This is required. You have to do down then up. You can't just do a single button press. So this is light, crouch light. It does down, then it presses the key, releases the key for attacking, then releases the up key. That all functions at once and acts very odd, but that's how it's supposed to react. I created a few other small functions like dash, so frames held, so it'll hold forward, and it'll hold forward for a certain amount of frames held. It multiplies it by 16 to get the frame count, and then you can mirror it to say false or true to then flip the inputs. You can make this script yourself. Did it for quarter circle back, dragon punch. Down, down, obvious input. Throw, I've mapped it just to a keybind to make it simpler for myself instead of doing multiple inputs. Hold forward, and then I also created a wait script. So this, again, comes back to being very important with recording. So one thing you can do is do wait. So you could even do record stop record, wait a certain amount of frames, trigger yourself to do something, play it, and then do something else. I didn't create a play feature yet, but it's pretty simple. You can just set that up. That would be, in my case scenario, for how my buttons are mapped, it would be this. M, and instead of being stop record, play, record. Very simple. Going into the code, this gets the window, gets the class, moves to wherever that action is. It says PS4 remote play. Another very big point is if you actually have your windows in a different language, this application will be named differently. So you'll want to name PS4 remote play something else. So when active, go again. It clicks to the active window, goes through, and then here's where all the input really takes place. Again, still have all my comments because this is very new. And here's me calling my functions. I dash forward for 30 frames. It doesn't mirror it, so it's false. It does the crouching unique, it waits 40 frames, and then it mashes light. That's what this script does. So again, PS4 macro helps me have the inputs out, and don't forget you have to have the remapper open. Auto hotkey, start, clicks the window, dash, and then immediately does it. So you can add waiting, you can add forward movement because I have a hold forward, you can add an SPD motion. There's a lot of different things we can do with this, and this will help tremendously with determining active frames for fighting games and even help with figuring out ways to create new types of setups. Just wanted to cover this, and hopefully this helps out and we can add more information for games that don't have PC release where we cannot reverse engineer anything.